with patch 8 coming out, I don't know, sometimes hopefully soon, we have a lot of ways to jump into all the new subclasses. And in this video today, I want to help break down the mystique of creating that perfect build. Now, I've done videos like this before talking about how to make a whole entire party, how to focus on certain things here and there, but I think it's still very evident to me that people get lost in the min-max. How do I make a character that's going to be the absolute best? What do I have to do when it comes to honor mode and so on and so forth? Well, in my typical fashion of upfronting the knowledge in my videos, what I'm going to be talking about is showing you how you can take advantage of the things that every single class presents to you as the information to focus on. For example, we know that Warlocks are a charisma-based class, and Paladins are a charisma-based class. Well, let's take a look at other classes that have charisma and focus on those. Or let's take certain things from these individual classes that only need minor dips, like 2 levels into Paladin, turns on the ability to smite, and it's not bound by our charisma characteristic. So we can jump into other classes and look at other things that can blend those things together. So the focus of this video, and I don't have one big key takeaway, unfortunately, to give you in this opener, is that I'm hopefully going to show you ways that you can pull these individual mechanics into a build that maybe isn't the best quote unquote meta pick, but is one that you want to do to beat the game in the way that you want to beat it. Remember, this is a single player narrative RPG. Play the game however the hell you want. Don't listen to the internet, even this video, right? Like, this is an internet content creator. Play the game how you want, and hopefully this galvanizes you to play honor mode in patch 8 the way that you want to. If that's all you wanted to know, please feel free to go ahead and shut the video down. I just want to do a quick too long didn't watch for those who just wanted the down and dirty and didn't want to sit through the entire video. Before you head out though, if the information in this video does end up being helpful, don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. Each one of those things helps me out in a huge way. And I will be streaming a brand new Dark Urge playthrough on my Twitch, which you can find in the link below. I'll be using patch 8 for that. Well, let's get started here on how to make the best build in patch 8 in Baldur's Gate 3. So before we even get started in the build itself, and I'm live streaming right now, so this is why you see a face cam, and I don't usually do that. But before we get started, we need to talk about the most important thing, and it is the min-max characteristic of trying to build your own build. I think it's really easy to fall behind the curve of making a build because you're like, this is not a good build. It's shit here, or it's not good there. I didn't take the right things there. I didn't take the right items, whatever it is. Don't worry about those things. If you're trying to do honor mode for the first time, you could do honor mode with 3 characters that are ramshackle crap and 1 character that's really good, and that 1 character can pull you through. Honor mode isn't made or broken. Yeah, made or broken by your by your build. It's really made by your action economy. Do you know what to do in the situations that present themselves? Yes, having really strong builds allows you to trivialize certain portions of certain fights or push through hard content, but you could take 1 level of every single subclass and still beat honor mode just fine as long as you know how to utilize your action economy. I said this in so many videos, making sure that you're looking at your actions as a party rather than an individual character is the key to success in this game. You pretty much just take a look at, okay, I've got 4 characters, that means 4 actions and 4 bonus actions, barring any kind of subclass benefits or potions of haste. So if I take a look at that, every time I'm in a whole new round of combat, or turn for that matter, no, it's a turn of combat, you look at that and go, okay, cool. I've got these 4 actions. How can I queue them up? Maybe I use the primary action of 1 character to knock an enemy prone, and to then use a bonus action on another character before I resolve their respective bonus and primaries opposite. So that was a kind of confusing statement, but my point remains is stop looking at your individual characters as their own encapsulated source of action and bonus action, and start looking at your entire party's actions and what they can do to assist each other's damage, support, and what have you. If you look at that, it won't matter what your builds are, it'll matter more how you approach the game. So don't get stuck in the analysis paralysis, the min-max. There's always people that are going to tell you, if you don't make a build with alert, you're not playing right. If you're not making a Sorkadin or this build or that build, you're not playing right. Fuck those people. Play the game exactly how you fucking want to play. You paid money, who cares? If you fail in honor mode, that's the point of it. You're supposed to fail or at least struggle to overcome the obstacle. So don't fret. You'll push through it, you'll understand, you'll fail, and you'll come back at it again with a little bit of a different mindset or a different scope. There's plenty of ways to approach it. And there's plenty of ways to cheese it, dude. You could just simply shut the game down and crash it so that the game can't save to the cloud if you really want to go that route. But don't get too hung up in that min-max. Now let's go through this actual build process. So I'm going to be using this website. I just made a really wild joke before I press record there. This website, EIP Gaming, I'll link it in the description below. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. It's really one of the only reliable build websites I can use. And I've asked the chat what build we want to make. And what the result was, people said Hexblade and Rogue. That was the focus, or Warlock and Rogue for that matter. So what we want to is, I'm hearing the music pipe through and it's bumping right now. So hopefully it didn't drown me out. So what we really want to look at here is what do both classes offer? So even though I have this builder website, I like to use or spend a lot of my time on the BG3 wiki whenever I'm trying to develop any of these builds. I want to get a sense for what is the progression for the 12 levels? When do I want to jump across from things? How does this all work? And I want to also get a sense for what subclasses I want to choose. So in this case, yeah, we're picking the Hexblade. And what levels are the big breakpoints for those subclasses? So if we're looking at just the Hexblade, I see that the subclass features happen at 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. So I know I probably want to hang out around this section, 5 to level 7. I want to also think of my feet. Not the ones below me. I mean like FEAT. And when it comes to that, I'm thinking of, okay, what classes am I looking at? Okay, so Warlock and Rogue. Then I get feet for the Warlock at 4, 8, and 12. For the Rogue, I get them at 4, 8, 10, and 12. Looking at those things to go, okay, what kind of formula can I create to at least get 2 feet? So feet. So that's the focus here, right? We want to look at subclass feature level breakdown, what those breakpoints are, how we can squeeze that into hitting at least 2 feats for our character, and then which subclasses, of course, we want to go with. I guess which subclass we want to go with is first. So we know we're going to go with Hexblade. Let's jump back over here to Rogue. And this is a patch 8 video, so we're going to go with Swashbuckler. And it also fits for what I have in mind for the character. And I've not pre-done this. I've just thought the chat told me, hey, do these two, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to look through some of this stuff. So we know we're playing a Warlock, and a Warlock scales with Charisma because that's how all their spells are cast. And we know that a Rogue scales with Dexterity because they're using melee finesse weapons which use Dexterity. Well, there's something that I know about what's this thing called? Swashbuckler, that I know is going to help us out. So Swashbuckler gets a lot of cool stuff at level 3, but its big benefit is at level 4, which is only one more level. And it's this. These dirty tricks are 3 special actions that they get that are bonus actions. So okay. We're getting good bonus actions out of this. And this is going to give us a cantrip. Okay, this is going to be Pocket Sand. If you can understand that reference, you're old like me. And then Flick of the Wrist. And Flick of the Wrist is a weapon attack. Okay, cool. So we have 3 really nice different abilities, and they're all bonus actions. But how do they scale? Boom. Charisma is the spellcasting modifier used for these abilities. So I immediately see that this plays right into my Warlock, which you maybe didn't think was going to work initially. And when people said it in chat, as soon as someone said Hexblade Swashbuckler, because this whole stream we've been doing a bunch of builds together, I was like, oh, that's going to be really cool together. So this is how we're taking something that doesn't seem like it's going to have a really good relationship together and push them together. Charisma is going to be one of the biggest driving forces here. So we see that happens at level 4. That tells me that our build is going to be at least 4 levels into Rogue, which leaves at max 8 levels into Warlock. So let's jump back to our Warlock portion. Well, at level 7, we get extended spell list with Banishing Smite ranged and oop, there it is. What a great video this is. Level 7 extended spell list, which gives us Phantasmal Killer, Staggering Smite, Dominate Beast, and Greater Invisibility. So that's good. That's good. Level 6 is the big focus for our Hexblade Warlock. because this is going to give us a Cursed Spectre. So this gives me a little bit more information. I want 4 levels of Rogue. I need 6 levels of Warlock. Put that together, we've got 10 levels. So I've got 2 levels of wiggle room to play around with. So how are we going to do that? Let's go now. We've seen what things happen here, right? I know there's nothing that's coming anytime soon for Swashbuckler. So 4 levels here, 7 levels here, or 6 levels here. Let's go back to just the Warlock list and look here. And let's go back over here to the Rogue list and here. So here's what we should know about, or what you should know about Rogue if you don't already. Rogue gets sneak attack. And one of the most important things about using a Swashbuckler is rakish. Where's it rakish? It's audacity. You gain 2 bonus to initiative rolls. Cool. This scales with your Rogue level. Great. Becomes 3, then 4. But you no longer need advantage to trigger sneak attack. It's the most important thing here of the Swashbuckler because it allows you to use your sneak attack all the time as long as you do not have disadvantage. It's huge. So you can use it as either a ranged or melee. It's right here, as you can see. It's super spicy sausage. And if we come back over here, we know that sneak attack scales on odd numbers. So that's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 for as what this game is concerned. And it says it right here, sneak attack damage. So I can see that at level 4, which is, remember, we need to get level 4 for our Rogue. That's 2d6. Well, if I push our Rogue to level 5, I get 3d6. I get a whole extra 1d6 damage in our sneak attack, which we can use without having to be in an advantageous situation. So that's huge. So level 5 Rogue also gives me Uncanny Dodge here, which helps out with dealing and mitigating damage from, ooh, this is not from spell, that's evasion, right? Use your lightning quickly to protect yourself. Yeah, okay, this is incoming damage. Evasion is a spell one. So, okay, this gives us some defense, and this gives us more damage. I like that. So let's say we're gonna go 5 levels into Rogue. Is it worth it to go 6? In my opinion, no, because we don't really get a huge benefit from 6 Rogue. If we went 7 Rogue, we would. But remember, we need to get 6 levels into Warlock. So we have 5 levels into Rogue, 6 levels now into Warlock. That naturally puts us at 1 more level into Warlock, which then gives us another Eldritch Invocation. This is a great benefit. So now we're going to get access to 4 invocations. We'll have 3 cantrips, and we'll get access to 8 spells, with access to our 4th level spells. So this gives us a lot of good everything across the board. We're going to get our level 4 capabilities from Rogue. We're going to get level 5 sneak attack damage from Rogue and the defensive characteristics. And then from the Warlock, we're going to get our level 6 capabilities from the Hexblade. And then we're going to get the level 7 Eldritch Invocation, the increased level 4 spell slots, all those good things. So we've done all that. We've kind of pushed all this together. Let's see how this build works. Now that we know, we're going to go 5 levels into Rogue and 7 levels into Warlock. So first things first, when it comes to making out our class or making out with our class or whatever we're doing, let's talk about our ability scores. Remember, we're playing a Rogue, so we're going to want Dexterity. We're going to want Constitution because we're playing a character that needs health. And we're playing a Warlock. And remember too, our Swashbuckler skills do scale with Charisma. So our big focus here is going to be on Dexterity and Charisma. Dexterity is going to be what we're going to do damage with. But remember, we're also a Hexblade Warlock. So Dexterity is not our primary damage dealer. Our Charisma is. Dexterity is just going to help us out with our armor class, and it's going to give us the benefit of helping out with initiative. So I deliberately laid that out saying, hey, Dexterity is what we get as a Rogue. Charisma is what we get as a Warlock. But remember, Warlock can subvert that and push it all into Charisma, right? So we're going to bring this up to 17 and put +2. 15 and put +2. Assuming this is your main character, you can then go get the Hag's Hair, whatever it is. You can bring this down to 16. I assume that if you're watching this video, you have an understanding of how to deal with an odd number in this ability score section. That odd number means you are planning some way to just give it either +1 point or multiple points, whatever the situation is. And then our dexterity, we'll just push this to 15 again and go ahead and put that to 16. So we'll get the benefit of the armor class from this, and we'll get the benefit of initiative. That's the biggest focus on 16 dex. You could swap it with constitution if you want. You want more health. You want the ability to resist maintaining your concentration. Dealer's choice. But I'm helping reason through why I'm choosing what I'm choosing. And one thing that I always like to do is just put 2 points into wisdom when I have those 2 leftover points, because I don't have a plan for 15 constitution. Maybe I'll have it in action, but I don't right now. I like having 10 wisdom because it reduces the penalty against wisdom saves, which you will be doing quite a bit in Act 2 and Act 3 when you're dealing with charm and other things that would otherwise make you lose control of your character. So we've done ability checks. Let's now go through the actual build. So for the build itself, I didn't choose anything with race. Choose whatever you want. It's always up to you. It's always dealer's choice. We have to decide what this looks like. All my build videos, I try to present the information to you on what the build is like as it levels up through the game, telling you, hey, choose these things because you're probably dealing with these enemies or these events in this act of the game, whatever it is. So when it comes to making the build, what I want to think of is, remember, we're doing 5 and 7, 5 rogue, 7 warlock. Okay, so do we want to turn on warlock first? Do I want to really push ourselves into rogue first? Am I playing honor mode? Am I not playing honor mode? When you are playing honor mode, yeah, sometimes maybe you want less margin for error in your build, so you want to focus on getting extra attack online as fast as possible. Or maybe you don't. It just kind of depends. So let's do this. We're going to level this up 5 levels of rogue, and then I'm going to add in warlock, and we're going to add class and level that up 7 times. And from this, we can kind of visualize the journey of the character. So level 4 here, we get dirty trick, and dirty trick. The nice thing about this is you can use bonus action here. This uses a bonus action. So you can go 5 levels of rogue up front and not worry about falling too far behind your power spike. And what I mean by that is every character, every class at level 5 either gets access to a new circle of spells that are very strong. I say that as I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about cleric getting access to their 3rd level spells. I'm pretty sure it's at level 5. Or you get access to level 5 for your fighters that get, melee-based characters that get extra attack. So you typically want to try to keep level 5 somewhere in a range where it will unlock that power spike for your character. So that's a critical thing to know. But in this case, since level 4 gives us something that allows us to do basically 2 attacks in a turn, we don't need to worry about it so much with this build. So if you're looking at this and you go, well, actually, I did want to do the build he's talking about, well, we can go 4 levels into rogue first and have no problem. Otherwise, maybe, you know what, I just really want to focus on the warlock capabilities and mainly just lots of melee damage. Then you're going to want to do 5 levels of warlock first so you can get that deepened pact to turn on your extra attack. And the reason I've broken it out like this is so that you can understand how you're going to approach it. Because I think laying it out like this first allows you to go, okay, let's take 5 levels of warlock and then 5 levels of rogue and 2 more levels of warlock. This allows you to turn on your extra attack as fast as you can, 5 levels into warlock, right? And let's do that really quick here. Let's misclick a bunch of times because I'm capping it out and kind of like low-key twitching, but that's fine. This is a warlock now. And we'll level up. So if I were to choose patron here as Hexblade, which we would be, and our level 5 capability then gives us extra attack, right? And I'm sorry, that's actually not updated. You need to choose Pact of the Blade to get your extra attack. that was changed in a patch for patch 8. Warlock Hexblade does not innately grant you extra attack. You have to choose Pact of the Blade. Then you would go to Rogue, add class, level up 5 levels. We got Swashbuckler in there. Then come back to Warlock. And the reason you'd break it up like this is that, again, we would turn on our first 5 levels. So going through the game, levels 1, 2, and 3, okay, they're going to be they're always the hardest portion of the game. 4 starts to get a little bit lighter. Level 5, boom, I get extra attack. Boom, I get access to a whole new range of spells. I get more Eldritch Invocations. I get my level 3 spells here, right? My character gets a spike in their viability or their overall strength. So that's why we want to kind of front load those first 5 levels. This you could argue is, I guess, more of a min-maxi build, but in this breakout like this, but I don't think you're going to have a problem going 5 levels into Rogue. So that's my point. You take this, you spike at level 5, we pivot into Rogue, we go all the way into level 3 to give us Swashbuckler, which now makes it so that, cool, we can do an extra attack as normal, but our bonus action can be an attack in and of itself. We can now do sneak attacks without being up close and personal. We're level 8. So we're kind of cresting to the midpoint of Act 2. So we feel a lot of good strength here. We feel a lot of good increased utility as we push into the beginning of Act 3, which happens right as we hit level 5 on Rogue. We're level 10. We get Uncanny Dodge. We're ready to finish off the remainder of the game at level 6 Warlock to get Accursed Specters, which is going to then give us even more fighting power. You could make the argument too here as well. Hey, you know what? I really want those Accursed Specters to happen way earlier in my playthrough. I want it to be in Act 1. Well, then keep Warlock to level 6 and save this last level of Warlock, or do 7 Warlock levels first. I know this is confusing because I've told you like 3 different ways to build this character out, but that has to fit you and what you want out of the character. My build guides typically say, hey, this is how I would approach it, because it's me approaching it specifically in a particular way. But this video is about teaching you how to learn how to approach a build in a way that you want to approach it. And that comes down to realizing what you want out of the build as you're progressing through the game. Yes, it's end of Act 1. I'm going into Act 2. I want to turn those Accursed Spirits on. Well, bam, you go 6 Warlock right here, then 5 Rogue, and then 1 more Warlock to get you your final Eldritch Invocation, which, to be totally fair with you, I think that that's a pretty good build, because that final Eldritch Invocation is not going to be as incredible. You do, though, get your level 4 spells, which is pretty fun. So do you want to cast more? Well, then get your level 4 spells. Do you want to do more melee? Well, get that Rogue online quicker so you can do your sneak attack. Comes down to how you want to do things. So we've talked about how to do your ability scores. We've talked about how to split these class levels up. How am I going to do what, where, at what point do we do certain things? But how also do you work on your spells? Okay, so as I readjust my chair like a big boy, spells are a big portion of this game. Most classes take advantage of some sort of spell or spell slot or spell ability, something, whatever it is. And to get the most out of your spells, you probably have, at this point in the game, an understanding of the game, right? You already have been through it. You understand what Act 1, 2, and 3 are like. You understand the type of creatures you're going to face. But if you don't, that's okay. So let's build out the spells for this really quick. Going through the thought process of, as someone who's been through the game plenty of times, understands what's coming. So level 1 here, right? I'm just going to choose different proficiencies. They're dealer's choice. Cantrips. Okay, my cantrips, I know I can cast as many times as I want. Well, I'm a melee character. Booming Blade is brand new. We're going to choose that. But I'm also a Warlock. And Warlock has just a juiced up Eldritch Blast. So we're taking that. That's good. It pretty much sets me. I'm strong there. But in general, if you are playing a character class like a wizard, a sorcerer, a druid, a cleric, you want a cantrip in there that's going to have some sort of range capability, right? So that you can choose to do up close and personal or ranged. Again, what is it going to be in the situation you're dealing with? And then your first level spells, tend to not be amazing, and you'll swap them out. Not all the time, but some of the time. And it depends to what class you're playing. So in this case, the Warlock actually has really strong level 1 spells, and we'll probably not swap most of these out. We're going to be playing a pretty melee-centric character, so I like Armor of Agathis or Agathis, which I don't know how to pronounce, and I like Arms of Hadar or Hadar. Both are really cool. Prevents targets from taking reaction, but I explode around me, I can do necrotic damage. Or this one gives me 10 hit points and reactive cold damage, depending upon the level of spell that I use. These are two really great ones to use right out the gate. And as I come into level 2, I now can choose Eldritch Invocations and spells. So this spell here, I know I'm going to get use out of Shield the entirety of my playthrough. So turning this on is not a bad idea early. When you're about to be hit by an enemy, increase your armor class by 5. You will take no damage from magic missile. So this is a great one. Or Hex is really good, and I know that's one that I can use the entirety of the game. Hellish Rebuke is really cool in the beginning of the game, but it falls off in effectiveness towards the later portions of the game because things are immune to fire. So think about these things when you're making these decisions if you are someone who's played through the game. If you're not, don't fucking worry. Pick whatever you want, whatever looks cool, and then if you decide I'm really not getting any use out of these things, go and respec your character for 100 gold and choose new ones. And you don't always have to do that, depends what you are, right? If you're a wizard, a druid, a cleric, a paladin, you can just swap them all off. But a bard, a sorcerer, a warlock, you have to respec to get them. Or you choose, I'm going to choose Hellish Rebuke here, and I'll show you why in a sec. So we've chosen Hellish Rebuke. Our Eldritch Invocations, I'm going to go with Agonizing Blast for the Charisma modifier on our Eldritch Blast. Remember, we're focusing on those things that really give us benefits. And we have our spellcasting modifier is Charisma. Our spellcasting modifier for all of our Swashbuckler stuff is Charisma. Well, this now plays into, we focus so much on Charisma, let's pull that benefit in. Also, let's go with Devil's Sight. You can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 24 meters. So if I'm playing a Gith or a human, I can now see in the dark. But moreover, if someone casts blindness on me, if someone casts anything that would, I'm talking about blindness, if someone casts darkness on me, I can see no matter what. So that's a great benefit right there. Another good one here would be Repelling Blast, which allows your Eldritch Blast to then move people backwards. But we have plenty of Eldritch Invocations to take advantage of. And then we come to level 3. So level 3, we're still in Act 1. So what other spells can we take advantage of? Because now we're in level 2. Well, let's see. Hold Person is really strong. They can't move, act, or react. Attacks from within 3 meters are always critical hits. Well, we can do that. We're going to be within 3 meters, so let's take advantage. Mirror Image gives us tons of armor class. Misty Step gives us tons of mobility. These are all 3 of these spells are ones that you can use the entire game. Shadow Blade is going to be huge in patch 8. It's a new one. This is going to give us a we have a shadowy short sword in your hand that deals 2d8 psychic damage. When you use the sword to attack a target that is in dim light or darkness, you make the attack roll with advantage. So let's just choose Shadow Blade because I know it's great. But we now have new spells to take advantage of, a whole new level of spells. So let's get rid of Hellish Rebuke and let's put in Hold Person. So this is an example where sometimes you take a spell that holds you over until you get access to better spells down the road. This is a way you just lean right into that. Level 4, we get another cantrip here. Again, I'm going to go with Blade Ward because I'm up close and personal, but we get another spell. And it is a level 2 spell. So let's go with, I'm going to go with Misty Step because it's really strong. It's a bonus action. We can move around. It's really, really good. But you know what? Maybe we're just not getting much damage out of Arms of Hadar anymore, or Hadar. Or, you know, scratch that. I'm going to keep that as is. Okay, can I not? What a great thing I've done. Ignore this. We're keeping Arms of Hadar until the next portion, the next level, when I can make a better point. And for our feat here, we're going to go with, improved ability. We'll go with Charisma because we're focusing on tons of Charisma, right? Don't be afraid to just take something boring like ability improvement, but also don't be afraid to take something cool. Like, mobile. Your movement speed increases in difficult terrain, doesn't slow you down when you dash. If you move after making a melee attack, which you'll do, you don't provoke opportunity attacks from your target. So don't be afraid to take something that the internet tells you is not alert, because that's like the top meta pick for everything. Choose something that's fun, or choose something that's boring that makes the rest of what you're doing fun, like ability improvement. Level 5 here. Okay, we're finishing up Act 1. We're starting to get into some crazy stuff. We might start to transition to that Act 2 around 5 or 6, so be mindful of those things. Okay, Eldritch Invocation here. We'll go ahead and go with, let's go with Repelling Blast. Bestow Curse is also really cool. But then, we got a whole new level of spells. And Counterspell is amazing. You just shut down someone's spell. But remember that Arm of Hadar? Why not using it anymore? It's just not, it's fallen off in its damage scaling. And now we have even more spells. We have all the level 2 and the level 3. So this is how you go about choosing these. We're going to swap Arms of Hadar for Hunger of Hadar, which is my favorite Warlock spell. So this is how you go about choosing these spells as you progress through the game and then swapping them out. Arms of Hadar does drop in its usefulness throughout the latter portions of the game. Other things, they maintain. Shadow Step is great from level 1 to level 12. Even though you can get to level 1, but still my point remains. And then into the Rogue, we choose proficiencies, sleight of hand and stealth maybe, whatever you want to do. I'm just choosing stuff. And expertise, sleight of hand, again, just choose whatever you need. Rogue, into Swashbuckler, into choosing another feat. This time we'll go with mobile. And I know I didn't take Savage Attacker. People love Savage Attacker because it does tons of melee damage. Sometimes you just don't need to choose the things that everyone wants to choose. Choose the things that you like to choose, which is a really weird sentence. And these, again, so now we're at level 6. So these spells, I'm sorry, level 11. We're into that final portion of the game. Well, things are going to be pretty crazy here. So do I go with something like Vampiric Touch? Touch an enemy to siphon their life force and regain half as many hit points. That's cool. But remember, that's a concentration ability. I've got a lot of other concentration abilities. Hypnotic Pattern, also a concentration ability, but really damn good. You can still, at this point in the game, go with something that's a level 1 spell like Hex, which is really good. It's basically Hunter's Mark for the Warlock. Additional 1d6 necrotic damage to the target and give it disadvantage on an ability of your choosing. So you can say, hey, I want it to have a disadvantage on Wisdom, and then I'm going to use Wisdom abilities against it. Whatever it is, don't be afraid to jump back to some of the earlier spells. Hex is a great spell that's useful throughout the entire game. And I deliberately did it like this so you could see taking it at level 11 isn't the worst choice in the world. It's probably not what I would do because I've just got access. Oh, I'm sorry. That's level 12. I was gonna say I just got access to level 4 spells, but now at level 4, we get access to all of our level 4 spells. So you can play around with these, and this is gonna be your best spells, right? You're level 4 at this point. We're at level 12. Try to always correspond your character level to where you're at in the game and correspond to the type of creatures you're gonna be fighting. I could choose Blight. Blight's not a bad ability. I really like it. But a lot of stuff at this point in the game is immune to necrotic damage. It's the same thing here too. If I thought I had like a fire spell. A fire spell at this point in the game might have something that's fully immune to it, especially if you're doing the House of Hope, which is fire and radiant immune. So try to frame your spell selections based off of where you are in the game. Don't be afraid to respec if you need to. Don't be afraid to choose old spell, Shadow Blade. or Armor of Agathis. I'm not using it anymore because I don't need those 10 hit points. Let's swap into Staggering Smite. I'm just choosing one here. So you can have a lot of fun being dynamic with these options here. Don't feel like you're locked in the entirety of your playthrough, and also scale these spell selections based off of what you're encountering in the game. So to close our video out, let's take a look at items. And I actually don't want to focus on this section. I want you to make your builds based off of the fun you think you're going to have with the character. If you know the game really well and you know all the items in the game, then yeah, by all means use this portion. We can go ahead and use Infernal Rapier, and we can go ahead and put the robe. Not the Infernal Robe, the Potent Robe. We can go through all those things. But I think that what that ends up doing is it ends up like shoehorning your experience. And I think that if you build on the items, because you know that those are the items you want to do, like, okay, you know, I'm doing a Radiant build. I'm going to get I'm going to slap the microphone. I'm going to get the Luminous armor. I'm going to do all these things. Then yeah, please do that. But approach the game with fun. Because if I tell you, yeah, if you don't get the Infernal Rapier, this is not going to be a good build. Well, the Infernal Rapier means you have to then do Will's storyline enough to trigger the Infernal Rapier quest option and bring him at a certain portion. Play the game how you want, like I've said so many times in this video. So the items here, I'm not going to go into it. You can. This builder is super strong to jump into and go, okay, well, let me look at all the helmets. Let me just do this. Oh, okay. Okay. This like, okay, like let's use like the ballist armor. Okay, like there we go. Like do whatever you want, but frame the character around a way you would have fun first, and then go what items socket into that play style versus, okay, I need these items. Let me build a character around them. Because when you have to build the character on items, it forces you into certain pathways in this game, because there are certain items, like I said before with the Infernal Rapier, that you only can get. This is a really good example. This build that I'm making is for the stream that we're going to do, where it's pure Dark Urge murder hobo. We're going to go to town on everything. You cannot get this if you play, well, you can get it if you play Dark Urge. It's just really tricky. And furthermore, you're not going to get this if you go murder hobo, because you're going to kill all the locations that would allow you to get this robe. So if I say you need this robe and you need this, I got to play with Will. And even if I'm being an evil Dark Urge, I now have to shoehorn my gameplay around that robe. Don't do it. Play the game, have fun, choose items as you see as they come to you, rather than trying to build around them. I think you'll enjoy the game more because you'll play the game you want and experience the items you want. Certain items do break the game in certain ways, but by and large, if you think you need the graceful cloth to win the game, you don't. Just have fun in however you find the items that present themselves to you in the playthrough that you want to do. So at that, it brings our video here to a close. And hopefully this gives you an idea of how to approach these new patch 8 subclasses, these new builds you want to do. And hopefully it does it in a way that is not just simply look on this website, read this build, do this thing. Like, enjoy the items that you find in the playthroughs that you play. Make the build you want to play that you've always thought, like, you know what? Like those random like shower or like bed thoughts where you're like, what if I did do 6 levels of Star Druid with 6 levels of Hexblade Warlock? I don't know. Screw it. Give it a shot. It doesn't matter. You can just simply respec anything. The time's not lost. You just simply learn that that thing's not going to be as awesome. Or maybe it's way better than you thought it was. Play around. Have fun, experiment, do all sorts of cool things in this game, because the game rewards you for doing that, because you just learned cool and better experiences. But if you have any recommendations for people that are making a build and do experience that analysis paralysis, or they don't really know certain things that they should do, little kind of rules and tidbits here and there, let it be known in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.